Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to create an AI agent using Kolena that can automatically analyze and create summary reports from insurance loss runs, like this one from AIG. If you work in insurance underwriting, risk management, commercial real estate, or finance, you probably had to request or review one of these before. They're critical for assessing risk and making decisions, but they're often buried in these long, inconsistent PDF documents that vary by carrier. But with this AI agent we're going to create, we can create one in minutes that reads these loss runs, extracts all the key fields like policy numbers, claim counts, etc., and gives you a clean, structured report that you can analyze or plug directly into your other systems. And you can do it for any carrier. Let me show you how it works. First thing I'll do is come over to the agent homepage here. I'm going to go ahead and click Create New Agent. Here we're just going to give it some initial instructions on what we want this agent to do. In this case, I want it to analyze loss runs to create risk assessment profiles for underwriting. I'm going to go ahead and click that. It will take us into the agent creation view. We can see up here at the top that Kolena has automatically enriched our objective, and this is the objective that our agent will have, and it'll use that to help us create more intelligent extractions. The first thing we need to do when we're creating an agent is just to give it an example document that we want to work with, and we'll use that document to create instructions. So in this case, I'm just going to upload that document I was showing you at the beginning of the video. It's just a PDF file. I'll go ahead and click Submit, and we'll use this just as an example so that anytime we upload a loss run, it'll have this set as instructions. So with Kolena's intuitive extraction interface, I'm just going to use natural language to define the fields that we want the agent to extract. First thing I want is to get details for every claim in the loss run. So in this case, I wanted to extract things like the claimant name, claim numbers. Essentially, I told it here to include all available fields for each claim record. And I'm going to go ahead and click Preview so that we can see how the system is rewriting this prompt to enrich it, to optimize it for the AI model, and based on the context of the document that we have here. So we can see here that it's rewritten this prompt, and it has looked at the rows, and it understands exactly what's there, and so it's given itself instructions to extract all that information. And we can see here specifically the columns that it's going to extract. This looks good to me, so I'll just go ahead and click Create, and it'll automatically begin extracting that, and it'll only take a few moments. It's completed the extraction. Let's go ahead and take a look. It's generated this table here. Go ahead and make some space so that we can see this. And we can see here that we have a row for each of the claims, including the claimant name, claim number, dates, the adjuster and the manager name, a description, and we could have customized this with whatever information we would have liked. So if, for example, we wanted to include another field, we can simply say Edit Extraction and provide specific instructions here, or add a column manually here if we wanted to have something specific, or if we wanted to remove any of these fields. Now what I'd like to do is extract some policy level details. So I'm going to say extract policy level details, including things like policy number and dates. I'll go ahead and click Create this time because I trust it to enrich and run that prompt automatically, so I don't have to wait, and we can move on. While it's running that instruction, I just want to know how many claims are outstanding. This is something that I just want as a top level piece of information, so I'll go ahead and click Create so that we have that ready to go. And it looks like we actually already have the information here. So we got some policy level details for each policy number, the insured, policy period start, policy period end. I want a little bit more information than that though. And all I have to do is click Suggest Improvement. And what Suggest Improvement does is it'll let us give natural language feedback to this agent, just as if you were talking to a coworker and telling that person what you wanted them to change. So in this case, I'm just going to say, I want you to include the policy number, policyholder and insured, the start and end dates, but also the carrier name, line of coverage. Basically, I'm telling it, actually, this is all the information that I want to see. I'll click Continue. The agent will rewrite its own prompt, so it'll rewrite this section here based on this feedback that we've given it. We can see here now that it's actually given itself a much more substantial set of instructions here, and it includes all of the information that I want at this policy level. That looks great. I'll go ahead and click Update, and it'll rerun that extraction so that we'll, in a moment, see the new information in exactly the format that I want, just based off of this Suggest Improvement, which I gave in natural language. The reasoning field here, which is this blue box, says exactly how the agent found this information and what it did if it did any particular calculations. It also provides citations. In this case, there's just the one document, but this is a link to whatever documents we have here so that we know exactly where it's pulling information from. And the agent will have this information for every field. So we can see if we come back up here that the reasoning was provided for exactly what it did there. And that way you can trust exactly how this agent has retrieved its information. For example, with this outstanding claims, we got 2 outstanding claims, and we can see here that it found an outstanding claim for this policy based on the status being open, and for this policy based on the status being open. Looking through all the policies in the document, it found exactly 2 claims marked as open. All other claims are explicitly marked as closed. So we can see how the agent can quickly extract exactly what we want from the loss runs, and it can do it equally well for documents that are even hundreds of pages long and in any format from any kind of carrier. But in addition to this kind of extraction, we can also ask the agent to do more complicated, intelligent things like do an analysis. And to demonstrate that, I'm going to ask it to create an executive summary. So here I'm just saying, write an executive summary including a narrative paragraph and bullet points to highlight key findings I need to know about to assess risk for this policyholder. I'll go ahead and click Create. And in this way, we can have not just information extracted from these documents, but in fact create a report that, in this case, I want this executive summary to show up at the top of this loss run analysis so that anytime I want to get a high-level summary and not have to go through all of the details, the agent will have done that for me already, and I'll be able to take a look at it in this executive summary. We can see here that it's just finished already. And now we have a natural language executive summary. Loss run report for the school district reveals a moderate risk profile. It has key findings, the total number of claims, claim types, time periods. In this case, it's including notable risk factors, the significant claims, and if we wanted to adjust this executive summary in any way, we could just use that Suggest Improvement button. And all of this comes together in the report that we're creating here. So what we've been in so far is the editor, where we're providing all the instructions. But what is going to be generated is this report document. And we can see here that this is effectively a PDF or a docx format. You can download those or print it. And we have all of the fields, including the reasoning information from this loss run that we've just run these extractions for. So very quickly, in just a few minutes, we've gone from a loss run document to a complete report. And if we want to run this for another loss run document, we don't have to include all of these instructions again. We don't need to do that process again of going through the editor and specifying all of these fields. We just did this one time using this as an example. And now, anytime we upload a new loss run document, it'll automatically run these extractions. So I'll illustrate that by going to this view where we have everything we've uploaded. Right now it's just one, but I'll go ahead and click this Add, and we'll upload a new folder, a new file, excuse me. This one's from a different carrier. And as soon as we add it, the system begins extracting all this information. Here we can see that this is a document from a different carrier. You can see that it's in a different format, but it's still fundamentally this claim information, this loss run that we need to extract from, and that's no problem for these AI agents. It doesn't matter what format that's in, we can still extract all the relevant information. So for example, we can take a look at this policy details, and we can see here that it's extracted all the information from this here, as well as information on claims. We can automate this process of adding new files by adding connections. You can see here in the onboarding flow that there's this optional third step. I'm going to go ahead and click Continue. It'll take us to this Connections page, which was this button right over here. What connections let us do is we can add a source so that anytime data appears in the source, say a new loss run, it could be for email, for example, or it could be a cloud storage location or SharePoint or wherever you have your incoming folder or where you have your loss run files saved. You can select that as a source, and then anytime files appear there, they'll be processed by this agent. So to illustrate that, I'm just going to show you with this Google Drive connection. I've got it set up. It's configured to just look in this folder here that I have connected via Google Drive. And what I want it to do is say anytime I upload a document to this loss runs folder, have it processed by the agent. And when it processes that, the report, I want it to drop that report in another folder, which in this case I'm also going to select Google Drive for. I'm just going to say, drop it in this processed loss run analyses. And I want it to include reasoning and citations. There we go. Click confirm. And now we have automation set up so that this agent will automatically create these reports. Anytime anything appears here, it will be processed and dropped here. So you could, for example, drop 100 loss runs into that folder and then come back a little while later and have 100 reports processed by this agent. We can also create dashboards on top of all this information. We click over into the dashboard. If we wanted to create a dashboard to analyze this, we could set this up here. I'm actually just going to show you a completed dashboard. And what Kolena will do is it will take this and it will actually write its own code and use this code to generate a chart of whatever format we'd like so that we can see the data in exactly whatever format that we'd like. You don't have to worry about knowing how to write this code or even read this code because Kolena is doing that for you. So this is a great example of how Kolena makes it easy to build highly specialized AI agents for real-world business documents, real-world use cases. So whether you're in insurance, real estate, finance, automating this kind of document extraction and analysis can save hours of manual work, reduce errors, and really accelerate decision-making, get you to higher value work. If you want help building your own agent for loss runs or any kind of other document workflow, let us know. We'd love to get you started.